my name is Jake Millan, and today I'm going to be presenting the FPL dividend policy that we discussed in class. FPL was founded in 1925, Florida Power and Light to be exact. They started off very strong with the electric that they were in control of, and they decided that they needed to diversify their company and be able to expand into many other companies to be able to keep up with the increasing competition. Throughout this presentation, we're going to be answering the main 5 questions for this case. The advantages and disadvantages of dividends, the issues confronting FPL, the appropriate current payout ratios, the appropriate payout from investor perspective, and also would be buy, sell, or hold the FPL investment. For the analysis, FPL had their dividend at $2.48, and they were trying to decide whether or not they should hold it instead of increasing it as they normally would. When they decided to hold the dividend at $2.48, they noticed a 6% decrease in their stock, and they realized that that probably wasn't going to be, a good thing to happen. By that, they would slow the dividend growth rate by roughly 1% in hopes that the payout ratio would go down from the 91%, I believe it was, down to the 80%, where it would be average for the other companies they are competing with. When the companies are paying the investors dividends, there are advantages, and at the same time, there are many disadvantages. Number one, being able to pay dividends is very attractive to investors. They want to make money just like everyone else, but they find it very intriguing if the company is able to pay them. And also, it does show the financial health of the company, showing that they are having success and they're able to spread the wealth to investors that are helping them out. The disadvantages, when it comes to paying dividends, it limits the company's growth. While they are paying the investors, they could be making their company stronger and much better and exploring many more options. And the tax to the investors, that is unfair just because they could be getting money from the stock that they could be buying into, and instead they are getting the dividend, but at the same time they're having to pay taxes. In 1994, the FPL group realized that the dividend was going to be at $2.48. This would break potentially the 47-year dividend increase that the company has had. The payout ratio was high at 91%, but they wanted to be able to bring it down to 80% to be able to compete with the other companies. And then the rising interest rates, they were going up very high, and they decided that they needed, bring them back down. The appropriate current payout ratio, like I said before, it was 91%, and they thought it was much needed to get it down to 80%. The profit margin in 1993 was at 8.2%, which showed that FPL was a successful company and they were doing their job very well. From the investor perspective, there was three different investors, and they both that were very different. The corporate investors, they had 36.9% of the total shares, but at the same time, they had a 35% tax rate. Um, and considering that they were in the lower tax bracket, it'd be more beneficial for them to have dividends. For the individual investors, they had 51.9% of the total shares, 36.9% tax rate, and because of their tax rate, individual investors favored the capital gains. For the nonprofit investors, they did have 11.1% of the total shares, but they did not have to pay taxes. So when it comes to K-Stark, the question is, would you buy, sell, or hold the FPL investment? Um, I believe the best option would be to hold the investment because it shows the investors that you are able to still continue to pay them, make them happy, and still be intrigued to stay with your company. I think it's very beneficial um, for the dividend payout um, to remain high because it will allow the investors to still stick with the company. Overall, FPL has maintained a good reputation throughout their entire career. And there's a very tough decision to decide on whether or not they should break their 47-year streak of increasing their dividends to help the investors. Um, like I said before, there was a 6% decrease in the stock when they realized they were going to hold the investment at $2.48. Um, and they had to bring the payout ratio back down to the 80% to be able to compete with the other companies. But overall, it was important for the company to be able to do what was best for the shareholders, because it's from the investors, it is a very good point of view, that they can see a company, believe in it, and know that they are going to have success, and it'll be able to bring them in money, and it'll make the company money as well, which is very helpful. That is it. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.